It sure did, big man. Another day, another Epstein document dump, what the latest documents say or don't say, and the issue of, are there tapes out there? And are these tapes involving Donald Trump, Bill Clinton, Richard Branson, lots of big names? We're going to tackle this tape issue because it seems to be the Epstein issue du jour with all the latest documents that were just released earlier today, Frankie C. So that's on this episode.
Okie dokie.
We also have a bold prediction from JP Morgan and one of their top strategists that Joe Biden will not run for re-election later on this year. So we'll tackle that as well.
What?
And then a little bit of a fun thing, and maybe perhaps for some, back to the pedophilia talk when we go over the Golden Globes and discuss one of Hollywood's biggest nights. All that and more on this episode. I liked it when Ricky Gervais hosted the Golden Globes. He was good.
I don't think he'll ever do it again, though.
I don't think so either. I think with that golden era has passed, my friend.
Gone. Done.
All right. The latest Epstein document dump, and follow me here, because I'm not saying that the existence of sex tapes is real, and I'm not saying it's not real. I'm saying we had a deposition. We had one of the victims. This is what one of the victims says or said happened. You all draw your own conclusions. Now, I will say Trump, Clinton, Branson, all the people that we've named have all denied the existence of any tapes or wrongdoing. It's very important that we put that up there up front. But again, I'm going to read you the whole story as it happened, as it unfolded today, and everybody can make their own sort of judgment. So more documents coming out. And what we're going to focus on is a young lady named Sarah Ransom, Ransome. She was writing emails to a New York Post columnist, Maureen Callahan, back in 2016. She claimed that several people in Epstein's circle abused a friend of hers, and also claimed that there were tapes that Epstein had made and had made copies of that this abuse existed. She names Donald Trump. She names Bill Clinton. She names Prince Andrew. She names Virgin Atlantic business billionaire Richard Branson. Okay. She doesn't name who her friend is. According to the documents, this is Ransom's deposition. This is her statement. She, meaning her friend, confided in me about her casual friendship with Donald Trump. Mr. Trump definitely seemed to have a thing for her, and she told me how he kept going on about how he liked her pert nipples. I've never heard pert be a description for nipples, but okay.
Yeah. It's gross, though.
I also know she had sexual relations with Trump at Jeffrey's New York mansion on regular occasions. Ransom then, in October 23rd of 2016, walked back all of the accusations, telling the reporter in an email, "I would like to retract everything I have said to you and walk away from this."
Huh.
Now, if you
Particular
recall,
reason?
2016 was the election of Donald Trump, right?
Right.
She added that only bad things and pain for my family would come from going public.
That's why.
In 2019, she admitted in a New Yorker article that she invented the tapes to draw attention to Epstein behavior. Trump advisor Stephen Chang said in a statement earlier today, these baseless accusations have been fully retracted because they are simply false and have no merit. Clinton's rep Angel Urena declined to comment. A Virgin Group spokesperson told the Post, in a New Yorker report published in 2019, Ransom admitted that she had invented the tapes. We can confirm that Sarah Ransom's claims are baseless and unfounded. Ransom, who's been living abroad since at least 2017, is now living in London, never produced the alleged tapes. She didn't immediately return requests for comment from multiple outlets on Monday, today, when all this is surfaced. The emails were filed in a since settled defamation lawsuit, Virginia Giuffre against Ghislaine Maxwell, same case that we've been talking about the last couple of days. And that's basically it in a nutshell. Now, go ahead.
If any such tapes existed, she probably wouldn't have them. Why would she have them? Number one. Number two, you got to imagine that if they still exist, after Epstein was no longer alive, and they went through his homes and all his locations, his island, whatever, you'd think they would have come across, FBI would have seen them, confiscated them, or unless someone else has got them that we don't know about. There's maybe there's another player that we are not aware of. But where would these tapes exist? And I have to imagine they would be regular tapes. They probably wouldn't be digital files. I can't, if we're going from the 90s, early 2000s, my guess would be tape.
Correct.
That's my guess. Unless they were transferred over somehow.
It's a good guess.
So.
Listen, she retracted them, right? That's all we can go on, is that she said, I made it all up and it doesn't exist.
She did say, I made it all up. I don't want to be in the spotlight. Too much trouble for my family. I don't want to come forward. She didn't say that they didn't exist. She said, I want to retract my statement, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
let me go back and read the exact thing so we're not.
Maybe they don't exist. But if all she said was, I don't want to go public because it'll hurt my family.
She said, I would like to retract everything I have said to you and walk away from this. Only bad things and pain for my family would come from going public.
Right. Going public. So.
Okay, doesn't that put a little thing in your stomach of.
That puts a thing in my stomach of they exist and she's afraid.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So.
Exactly. And anybody in their right mind, I feel like, again, listen, is it click worthy for us to perpetuate a lie and a falsehood that these sex tapes exist with two former presidents and a prince? It sure does. But at the same time, being as responsible and non-clickbaity as we've been, any right-minded individual would look at this and go, well, she's clearly just afraid and she's...
Yeah, this is all speculation. We don't know that maybe they don't exist. Maybe she retracted it because she made it up.
Maybe.
But she didn't say she made it up. She said she's just stepping away from it because she wants to get out of the public spotlight because it would be hurtful to her family. So that's not the same thing as I made it up.
Right. Now, the reason why I feel comfortable talking about this is because we know for sure that he had video cameras in his house. And we know this for several reasons. One, people said that they saw them.
Plus, he's a billionaire. You got to imagine there's some sort of security.
Tons of security. And lest we not forget the famous story of the FBI coming and cataloging everything in both his New York and Miami homes, and especially in Miami, where they let the stuff sit out there and somebody came and swiped it they lost it for a couple of hours. Remember that? When there was just stacks and stacks of documents and tapes and all kinds of things. And then it was like, oh, where was that stuff that we were going to pick up? And then all of a sudden it was like, oh, we found it again.
Where the hell did it go? Was there an explanation of where the hell it disappeared to for however long?
The FBI gathered it all together in the room,
and they never found out where it disappeared to for the few hours.
It just happened to be gone for a couple hours. Long enough for somebody to come through and cherry pick the really bad ones and make sure that they don't see the light of day.
Right, or for someone to come through and switch them out with blank ones or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
Keep them for themselves.
Exactly. So,
for
again.
What's it called? For blackmail purposes. Who the hell knows?
Right. So again, responsible journalist doesn't want to be sued. AOA podcast.
Right.
She retracted it. These don't exist.
So we can't. Yeah. As far as we know, what tapes? We don't know. We don't know nothing about tapes. She retracted it. That means there's probably no tapes. So we can't go on the basis of yes, there's tapes. We can't. So our stance is, unless she came forward and said, yeah, there's tapes, but I'm not going to say anything else about it. That's where we are. We're firmly behind there's no tapes.
Because we don't want to be sued.
Because we already did. So there. Can we say alleged tapes?
You could say alleged. I mean, the fact that she retracted it really kind of kills everything because she's basically saying, I take it all back. I made it up. It's not true.
She said, well, yeah, she says I take it all back. So once someone retracts their statement, legally you have no choice but to go, all right, well, that's that then. I don't know what to tell you. At least we do.
Right. But anybody, again, in their right mind would look at this and go,
This one
doesn't
smells a little fishy.
Right.
But
Nobody could be comfortable. Like any journal, again, not that we're journalists.
no, we're definitely not journalists. We don't read. We're repeating stuff that we hear.
We entertain and inform, and in that order, right?
Right. We inform based on other people's hard work.
Right. Exactly.
Other people's journalism.
Right. So, again, any journalist would be like, okay, these are alleged, these, she retracted it, blah, blah, blah. But no journalist would leave it there. I mean, anybody with any ounce of self-respect to try and find the truth would continue to see if such a thing existed and if she would ever want to, change her mind, turn it around, say something.
Not only that, because if let's say these alleged tapes allegedly existed, she can't be the only person. Let's say they do definitely exist. She wouldn't be the only person that would know about it. So a journalist might try to go track down other people that might have seen these alleged tapes.
Yeah.
People that worked there, people that have visited, anybody, people that have went there that had nothing to do with anything scandalous and just like maintenance people or cleaning people, whatever. Who knows? I don't know. Pilots, anybody, security team. I'm sure he did he hire private, like he had his own security, or did he hire from a company, or was it?
He did not actually travel with security a lot of the time.
He didn't have any detail with him. Any people with any security guards?
Not that I have ever really seen or have ever seen any in all of this. I have never seen Joe the security guard. Not to say that he didn't have, but I've not seen it in photographs. I have not seen people refer to security. Yeah. I'm sure there was on the island. I'm sure there was some form of something, in most of his places. But I don't recall. We've heard of chefs. We've heard of gardeners. Like not really bodyguards.
You're traveling with billionaires and all these people, and you have your own private plane, you get your own island. You got however many properties. You figured you'd have at least one person walking with you that could take down someone that tries to, get in your way, whatever the case may be. Just someone. I mean, you're obviously. I'm not saying your wallet is loaded with hundreds, but you probably got something valuable on it, whatever the case may be.
Yeah, but you know what's interesting? Nobody knew who the hell he was
before this all. Yeah.
For the most part,
that's not true. Well, I mean. Celebrities did, famous people did.
Oh, he was running in
90s and 80s.
Yeah, he was running in circles. But unless you're on the cover of some big magazine for being a billionaire,
the layperson didn't know. Nobody knew who the hell he was. He wasn't a celebrity.
Criminals. Yeah, most criminals who would mug him or try and kidnap him or whatever really
had no
idea.
Yeah, I mean that's true. Maybe there wasn't a threat. He wasn't. That's because nobody knew who the hell he was outside of the people that he socialized with.
I mean, again, I feel that just existing out in the Hamptons, like, I can't tell you how many times people would be like, oh, that guy's a billionaire. And I'm like, that guy with the sneakers and the...
Yeah. You don't know. And that's the thing. I mean, if you're a billionaire, you personally, Anthony, if you're a billionaire, would you at least have one security guard, no matter what, if anybody knew who you were or anything?
100 million%.
One person, just a guy... Anybody, a man, a woman, someone who's walking with you wherever you go, even if it's your driver, and this person happens to be your security detail as well. Someone just getting you back, just in case something goes down.
1,000,000%. In fact, I'll tell you what, the biggest sense of anxiety I have to the "what if I won the lottery" scenario is like, I will play this game.
Me asking you for hey, can I borrow 10 grand?
Yeah, you would immediately get money. You know that. But it is, if I won $250 million, am I going to have enough money to pay a security team
I don't know about a team. You might. I mean,
the
how
proper
much?
amount of money for the rest of my life. You know what I
I
mean?
don't
Like
know. I
that's
mean,
what I
I
think
don't
about.
know. But how much does a security person make a year?
It's a great
Someone
question.
putting their life. Someone risks their life.
I would imagine for an individual, you're talking about at least 150 to 200,000
per person for a year
for a security person.
for one person.
Yeah, and I would imagine you'd go with a company that provides much more than a person.
Well, if you got $250 million, and you're not just sitting on it and like spending it, and you're investing it and making more as you go,
You'd
you
have
might be
to.
able to. Well, that's what I'm saying. You might be able to throw down a few $100,000 a year for a security detail. But it might not be even a threat. Nobody knows who you are, and nobody knows that you have this money.
Beaver Boys with a good point here. He had bodyguards. They were called the CIA. A
Oh,
little of truth in there. Rim shot for Beaver Boys. Yeah,
for
but
the
no,
Beaver
but it's
Boys.
true. Like you think about it, like because again, everybody wants to win. Fuck you, money, and I don't have to work any more money. And now you're kind of like, well, all right, how much do I have to make to keep the security team going and make sure? And then I also think about the Italian job. Remember, they flipped on what's his name, and now you got to worry about security guards gone bad. And remember,
How do you
remember
know?
Richie Rich? Okay, let's not forget the movie Richie Rich. What's his name? Turned on.
Many life lessons in Richie Ray.
There's a lot you could take away from that 1996 family film. But the guy from Night Court turned on the riches and sent them packing. So you gotta pay enough to keep people happy.
I mean, how could you ever fully trust your security
I
guard?
couldn't, dude. When I tell you the idea of winning $250 million, I would almost want to. You would never know.
I'd take it off your hands if you're worried about having that much money. Just give it over here.
I swear to
That's
you,
fine. I'll hold it for you.
nobody would be the wiser. I would get a slightly nicer house than I have now. I would get a slightly nicer car than I have now,
You
and
say
I
that.
would travel far more frequently. Outside of that, nobody would have any clue. Because this
Well,
idea,
those are all three big things. I'd pick up on that pretty quickly.
no, but I mean, like, I would have like, maybe an electric, maybe a Tesla instead of a regular car. You know what I mean? Like,
You don't want a Tesla.
I wouldn't go out and buy. By the way, I sent you the most gorgeous car I've ever seen. This
What?
the Rolls Royce. I put it in the friend chat. I don't even know what it's
Oh,
called.
okay. Yeah.
Did you
Well,
see it?
they have these out of control cars now that are so impractical and ridiculous.
It's like you got it. Show it to every. It's like
Let me see if I
pitch
could bring it up here.
black, matte black, which I love a matte black car. I can't imagine how much that car is worth. I would never, ever,
Where the hell
ever,
is it?
ever buy that car if I had the money to buy it.
Why am I can't find it. When did you send it?
It was a couple of days ago in the friend
Yeah.
in the friend chat.
I got to go past like Janine's brother's balls pictures.
It is the most gorgeous thing I've ever seen, but it looks. Thank you, Mercury. Love matte black too. To me, that's the epitome of class in cars.
I'm starting to get into the matte colors cars. That my only thing with that, I like the way they look, but for some reason, texturally, I feel like I wouldn't want to scratch my fingernails on it.
Yeah, the whole thing. Yeah, yeah,
Doesn't that freak you out a little bit?
yeah. But it
Like
does.
that-
But think about it. Like you win all this money, or you have all this money, and now you want to live on Park Avenue or buy this mansion of a house. Like I feel like you're just drawing attention to yourself, and
Of
you're
course.
begging to be robbed. You know.
Right. No,
Like,
if you
do you remember growing up as a kid, like your mom would be like, if you had, I don't even like a Game Boy or something, and your mom would be like, put that under the back seat, but don't let people see.
Well, of course. Yeah, you don't want to be like, oh, I have all this unattended stuff in the car in the back seat. Yeah, you don't want
That
to do that.
mentality haunts me to this day.
Here it is. Can I show it?
Yeah, you can show it. It's a Rolls Royce something or other. Fuck, look at this fucking thing. It's the most beautiful car I've ever seen.
It is a
Like,
crazy looking car.
it's gorgeous.
This is, I like when they show these things and the way they like open and turn and like, It's like this. You're never going to see these things on the street. These are like collectors' cars that nobody ever drives.
Yeah, but you say that though, but you drive 20 minutes up the road from where I am in the summer and you will see these. You will see these cars. You'll see these
Driving
people.
around or like
Oh yeah.
just anywhere.
Oh,
That's
Job's Lane in Southampton, Main Street. Hell yeah, absolutely.
all right.
Absolutely, man. They had one car that it was in the New York Times. It was like this that weird, you know, that silver color that looks purple and green, like fluorescent-y, like, you know, in the 90s, like
Yeah,
every
that
gift bag at a party had
that weird rainbowy color.
weird,
It looks like a
yeah,
fish or like an oil slick.
iridescent. Thank you, Cuddles. Iridescent.
Iridescent.
Somebody has a Ferrari or whatever it was, Porsche in that color. It was in the New York Times like 3 weeks later. We saw it.
Yeah, but how much? Nobody's. How much does that thing cost?
Oh, it was like a $500,000 car.
Why would you? Unless $500,000 car. Unless you're a billionaire. I mean, a billionaire. That's like buying
Yeah, this
a
is what
bicycle.
dude. I know a guy. His whole business out here. He used to be an advertiser for us. His whole business was just warehousing these cars, and
Just
they would
holding them.
just holding them, and people would come out, and they would send whoever from their staff would come by, pick
Well,
up the
that's
car.
got to be an insurance nightmare. I mean, he's got to pay up the nose.
Yeah.
Through the nose.
Because they would keep it. They would keep it in a warm garage. They would run it every night. Like they did
They
upkeep
take
on
care
it.
of it. Yeah.
They took care of it while for 9 months out of the year while it was sitting. And then they would just drive it around for the week or the weekend, and then
I always thought
back it would come.
the biggest. I would have to imagine the most lucrative do nothing business has got to be storage units. If you own a storage unit, a storage building with all these units in it, I mean, what do you got to do? You got to make sure the place is running with electricity and cool, and you pay the insurance. I mean, and the property. What
It's the most
What the hell?
passive income business, they say, because
Exactly.
there's literally no upkeep.
You don't got to do anything.
Yeah.
You keep track of the books, who's buying units, who's not, who's renting them, who's not, in and out. Other than that, the business runs itself most of the time.
With
People
automatic
come-
bill pay now too, people forget they even have that shit. They're just coughing up $500 a month just to fucking.
I would love to meet someone who owns a storage unit building, and be like, this person's got to be living the easy life. It's all income. I mean,
Yeah.
insurance has got to be crazy because you got to insure every single thing, and something happens. But
I guess.
what happened? I knock on wood. I can't imagine a lot of those places.
Yeah, but
Do
they're
you think
all
those
under-
places are targets?
They have surveillance though.
They have surveillance. Everything's locked up, but I'm sure
Yeah.
there's a security guard or something. But other than that,
I don't know. Most people
because
probably-
there's no guarantee that you're gonna go. And that's the thing. Someone's gonna rob a place. There's no guarantee they're gonna get something good. They're gonna go open a storage unit and see boxes of bullshit.
Yeah, but out here in the Hamptons, they have like warehouses. Like it's not like they go to like, I don't know, name a storage place, Storage R Us or whatever. It's not like
Right.
they're going there. Like they literally have.
Oh, I'm sure they've got the most top
Warehouses.
of the line. Yeah, crazy.
Yeah, there's a couple of places. I mean, it doesn't matter.
Bat
I mean,
caves.
yeah, I could say that there's one place that's like part of an airport, and there's like, I remember the first time I went there, I go, it's a fucking air. Like there's like 19 hangars. Like what? There's no planes coming in and out. It was like an older, one of the older ones.
Yeah.
And they were like, oh, no, such and such owns this, and that's got all kinds of shit, and who knows what the fuck they're storing in there. And it's just huge airport hangars filled with billionaires stuff.
It's unbelievable. The people who own that and rent them out to whoever. God, that's because they have the most expensive clients. The clients will pay whatever to keep these things safe. And
Yeah.
Oceania, I love Storage Wars. Yeah, that show was good. I don't know what's going on. Is that all staged? They said it was like some people said it was. It wasn't. They opened the things. They put something expensive in there. Is that true? Do they? Is that all? That's probably not all legit, right?
I would probably say it's not all staged, but I'd probably say that if
See,
they're
that's
staring at a month's worth of tapings that has nothing, they're probably like, all right, get the fucking crew out there.
I got to tell you, I don't mind. I used to watch that show, and when they they open a storage unit and they find, something mildly interesting, and it turns out to be worth nothing. Just as entertaining as if they find something and it's worth $1,000.
Yeah, I used
It's
to
just
watch
as
that
entertaining.
show.
It's the journey. They go, oh, look at this thing. This looks like an old model car, whatever, and they find out it's worth 50 cents, but it's all fun, But then there was a guy that he opened it up and there were paintings in there, and all these things turned out to be like worth 300 grand or something. I'm like, all right, this guy made out pretty good. And then all these people own these places where they resell stuff like furniture and stuff.
I know that always
thrift
bugged me
stores.
when I watched that. They would be like, "Oh, this is like $80 all day long," and I'm like, "What for old shutters? $80? Who's paying
new
$80?
maybe.
Yeah, I'm like, who's buying that?
Right. There were people on the show that would go, all right, this is $80 for these shutters, but they would work on them. They would paint them. They would fix them up.
Yeah,
there were people that did that, but I used to watch these shows and go, this is amazing. They're finding all this cool stuff and they're making a living.
me too.
It seems like a fun show. It was cool,
when was the last time you watched that shit? I mean, fucking probably
It's been a
12 years
while.
ago. Yeah.
No, I wouldn't say 12. I'd say right before the pandemic. I think I watched them.
Really?
Yeah, it was a fun.
Who was the
interesting
hot
show.
girl? There was a one married couple, and the girl was so hot.
Oh,
And I know there was the guy with the white hair. He was a little funny.
yeah, he was funny. There was Brandy, I think.
Was it Brand? Whatever happened to her? She was.
I don't know. Brandy and her
Beautiful.
bald husband.
I just remember
remember
watching
that
that, going, "Why is she with this guy? I don't get it.
Yeah,
Just
I don't know.
she's so far too hot for him." You know?
But it was like if it's all bullshit, then that's what takes me out of it. But if they all did it legitimately, and that's like if I could, I would talk to the producers to be like, don't mess with all these storage units. Let them just find whatever they find. If they go 3, 4, 5, 10 episodes without finding anything of value, it's still interesting because they're digging through this stuff and they go, oh, look at because they find stuff that might be valuable, and at the end of the day, it's not. I'm still in. I'm still watching
Yeah, I could see that.
because it's
I don't
legit.
think most
It's
people
real.
are. I don't think most people are like you though. They need the pizzazz. They need the.
I know, but it was so. I liked it when I thought it was real. I was like, oh, this is cool. I didn't care if they found, the hope of them finding the golden treasure was always there.
I'm sure a lot of it was real, but I feel like they were dropping things in when needed, when necessary.
Yeah, and that's disappointing. I don't like that.
Yeah.
Once that kind of surfaced a little bit, that's when the show just dropped off, and
I did like
nope.
when they would fight over it, and they would outbid each other, and who would run up a bid just to fuck some other guy over a little bit more.
That was fun.
But it's
That was
such a
fun.
dumb science. Like just looking at it, like I think I'm willing to pay $600 for this, but not $650. And you're like, what? What? Like
Yeah,
for
you
$50?
can't- You could just look. You can't go in. You can't touch anything.
Yeah. But some of them did have like if it was an affluent area, they would pay more. Like so there was a little bit of a science to it, which was kind of
Yeah.
interesting.
And they knew like, oh, that bureau looks authentic, of some kind of
Yeah.
antique or something. So maybe there's some treasures in there, but you could tell. I guess they could tell by like the storage containers. Like is it a cardboard box or is it a treasure chest? Who the hell knows?
Yeah.
But
But
that
then
was a fun
they
show.
pull out a bag of like wooden golf clubs and be like, yeah, $75. I'm like, what? What? Nobody's buying those.
Well, these were Teddy Roosevelt's golf clubs, and
Yeah.
come on, you're not finding that in Oakland, California.
I'll tell you what, no bullshit. We're gonna find these Epstein tapes in one of these fucking storage units because that's what's gonna happen. Somebody's
Right.
like locked them away out of fear for their lives. They're just sitting there. They're gonna die one day. It's gonna go up for auction, and suddenly people are gonna be like, "Holy shit! Here it is. Here's the
Right.
treasure trove."
And then it's going to be like, producers, what did you fucking plant these here? And they're like, oh, I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I can't imagine. So
So if these tapes do exist, if these tapes do exist, I got to imagine that either an unnamed someone who, the public isn't aware of yet has them, or the authorities in some way have them. They're building some kind of thing.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, or the third option is they don't exist. Those I can't imagine a fourth scenario. Either they exist and someone has them that's keeping them for whatever reason. They exist and the authorities have them, or they don't exist.
I also feel like even if it's not these tapes with these people, there are tapes, and where are they? And why haven't we heard anything? And although I'm appreciative of the documents that have come out and the flight logs and all that jazz, but there's more there and we don't have it. Like, how do we have everything out of Hunter's laptop so quickly, but this has failed to make it to the public?
Here's another question. Okay, and I'm not bringing this up because Trump is in it, regardless of who's in it. You know that tape of Epstein and Trump, they're at a party or whatever?
Yes.
It's the only real video of Epstein and whoever at a party.
It's true.
I can't imagine. It's only like 5 seconds. I can't imagine that's the full length of the video.
Yeah, it's true. I see what you're saying. Like, that's the only video that ever surfaces of Epstein when they.
And why is it only a few seconds? I'm sure whoever was taking that video took more video.
Yeah, well, I don't know if it's a few. I think we see the same few seconds over and over again when they're pointing and laughing and dancing awkwardly. And
that's what I'm saying. But what's the rest of it? Is there any?
There's like 25 minutes to that.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. I've watched it. There's a reason why you're seeing the same 5 seconds over and over
That's
again.
the only part that makes any kind of
impact. It's pretty boring for the most part.
All right. Do we know who's taking that video and where it came from?
Yeah, I did. I think they were following him I think they were following Trump for a story.
Okay.
And what's interesting about that, though, is Epstein's willingness to partake in it. So there was a time where he did want a little shine. He did want a little heat. He wanted a little press. And then that quickly subsided because by the time Vanity Fair wanted to write an article on him, he was out there fucking threatening everybody about that article. So I don't know what took place, or he felt he was so far in, or
I feel like that for all the parties and whatnot that supposedly all these celebrities, that's the only video footage I've ever really seen of Epstein at a party. So I got to imagine there's more. I got to imagine there's someone with a camcorder. I mean, I feel like back in those days, it wasn't phones. People weren't just doing this. So it had to be physical, like someone going like this or someone with a, a viewfinder kind of thing.
Right.
So I got to imagine that some of that exists somewhere, even if it's just some idiot with a camcorder. Something more than what we've seen.
They did have camcorders at the time. I could totally see somebody,
Someone had to have something. I mean, that's in all of the, notoriety that all the famous people that have come and gone through his doors. Nobody had, there was no, maybe not press per se, but nobody took any video of any party. I mean, maybe not, but
no, it's a great point because when you think about the New York social scene, you could point to and find media footage of Donald Trump coming in and out of different parties.
That's what I'm saying.
And you're right. Where's the Epstein?
You never see Epstein.
You never really see him.
Video footage, which I'm sure has to exist. But again, speculation.
Well, what about okay, for instance, just to take your point a step further, Ghislaine and Hillary, what's her name's wedding? The daughter there, Chelsea's wedding.
I'm sure there's a video of that.
It's got to be. It's
Not
be
that
tons.
anything nefarious went on at the wedding, but I'm sure there's video of them socializing.
They cut ties with her, and there's a fucking still picture of her, watching her walk fucking aisle. So
who the hell knows? Yeah, where's that video? But I mean, how do you get someone's wedding video? The photographer, I'm sure. I don't know.
Yeah, how do you get them to implicate themselves? Basically, that they're lying about everything.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, my point is, there's got to be more video. Just in the happenstance of videos being taken casually,
Mm-hmm.
there's got to be just more general video than we've seen.
Yeah, because when did Epstein die? In was
A
it
couple of years, 2, 3 years ago. What? Right?
was it 20 or 19? I don't even remember now. But anyway, up until all throughout the teens, from 12, 13, 14 on, there was a lot of video everywhere. Again, this is going back to the fucking what's her name story who disappeared out in the desert there. The girl from Long Island.
Oh yeah.
What was her name?
Laundry was the guy.
Brian Laundrie and Gabby Petito.
Gabby
Thank you.
Petito.
Gabby Petito disappears in the middle of the desert.
I could see that being no video.
But in the 3 months that we talked about that story, we got fucking 17 videos of other YouTubers and shit just so happened to be driving by, and
they just happen to be passing by and they got video of the van.
Yeah.
There isn't I just happen to get video of this guy and this, and something going on. There's got to be something.
Yeah, you're 1,000,000% right on this. You're 1,000,000% right.
Just on accident.
Same way people can't feel comfortable with this girl just acting like, oh, this doesn't really exist, and everybody going, oh, okay.
The guy had properties in New York and Miami, right? Miami. So
Palm Beach. Sorry,
I'm sorry, Palm Beach, New York, and New York City and Palm Beach. Probably, how is there not video footage just in the lobby? I mean, these places, there's cameras everywhere, especially in New York City.
Well, remember they said that he had limestone in his bedroom, and you could literally just poke hole. There would be just holes in the walls because of the way the walls are. There's just naturally holes, and people surmise that there was just cameras sticking through those, getting all sorts of, information put in. God. So,
what a whole big, creepy, gross mess.
Speaking of holes in the walls, our foremost expert on the subject, J Sabs, is
hey.
Oh, I'm definitely a hole in the wall expert.
Mm-hmm.
Talking about glory holes,
how
then that's
glorious.
Your uncle's favorite.
That's what I heard.
Join us. Yeah.
That's what I heard.
How are you, J Sabs?
How are you, J Sabs? We're moving along to the next topic.
I mean, I'm slowly getting past the post-holiday blues. I'm slowly.
You got the blues?
I'm depressed as all shit from the holidays.
Are you? Why? See, didn't I call it? I said New Year's was a kind of a downer of a holiday. And you were like, no, New Year's is great. I have a great time at New Year's. And I'm like, well, it's a little bit of because then after that, it's winter and it's dark and it's like,
It's 2 months of nothingness. We're staring at nothingness.
Right.
You got.
You try to get people together for movies and they say no. Oh, no, I'm sorry. They don't respond.
That was years ago.
Right. Oh,
fucking 6 months ago.
I compare.
Am I no longer? What happened?
I don't know what happened there.
Oh, there I am.
Sort of thing. I compare like post holidays. It's like after your wedding, it's like, oh, there's like this big hype. You do all these things, and then it's just nothingness after that.
Mm-hmm.
That's after, I feel like most things. So you have a big lead up to it, the thing, and then after that, it's just.
Right.
There's no gradual.
No, there isn't.
See, there was right after Christmas, I heard on the radio I heard Winter Wonderland.
Yeah.
A couple of stations were playing typically holiday songs, but mostly winter songs. And I was like, oh, this is great. Why, you kind of fade out the holiday instead of the 26th, it's over.
Right. 26th Christmas Day at 6:00 they stopped playing Christmas music.
I hate that.
That's brutal. It's just a big punch in the gut.
I'll never forget getting in my car on the way back from my aunt's house on Christmas one year, putting on the Christmas station, and it's fucking regular music, and I'm like, you've got to be shitting me. Like, we can't even finish the day. They start the shit at Thanksgiving. Now we can't even finish the fucking day.
Yeah, is it moving the meter that much? If let's change back to Bon Jovi. It's like, all right, relax.
Yeah.
Play some more Burl Lives for the rest of the day for everybody, please.
Yeah. But I wonder, I want to get your impression on this, Frank, because I feel like ever since I had kids.
Not yours, J Sabs.
Well, I think J Sabs is going to be on my side of this. Time just is going so fucking fast. And I don't know if it's because of the kids or because of our age.
I think it's our age. I don't know. It might be our age because I've been thinking, I'm like, oh my God, I'm already this age, and
You're really old. I've been meaning.
I'm really old. I'm up there.
Yeah,
And
I'm trying
you
to
know,
find a younger version of you to replace you on the podcast.
I don't blame you if they're out there.
I'm gonna
Go
spruce
for
it up a little.
Spruce it up. But it's I think it's going pretty fast. My father, as long as I can remember, has been saying it's time's flying. That's like one of his catchphrases.
Yeah.
Time's flying, man. Holy shit, it's going by so fast. I'm gonna be this age in a year. Oh my god, it does. It goes by quickly.
Christine says age. We've talked about this before. There's a study. There's a saying that when the repetitiveness of life, of getting up, eating, shower, go to work, come home, blah, blah, that once you get into your 30s and 40s, you have done it all so much that the feeling of it literally feels like it is moving faster than it has before because you've done it so many times.
So like 3 months of doing that same thing over and over again smushes into like, holy shit, that only took a couple of weeks.
Kind of, but it's almost like, again, like when you wake up at 35 and you've been waking up for 35 years now, and maybe you've been getting up and working and living for the last 15 years, like, right, as an adult, that starts to compound over time. And that's why a week feels like it goes by so much faster than it ever has before.
I also think hindsight plays a lot into it, because if you look at it and you go, well, for the past 10 years I've been doing the same, every 80% of the days are pretty similar. You get up, you go to work, come home, eat, whatever. And if you did something incredibly different every single day, I feel like it would stretch it out more, because you'd have a huge memory on each day that kind of spaces everything out. But if every day seems the same, it all kind of flows together as one kind of thing. You know what I mean?
But all right, think about when you were 8, 9, 10 years old, and Saturday morning you'd get up and you'd have your Saturday morning cartoons,
right?
And you'd watch and you'd do whatever, and you'd like hang out, and then it would be like 11, 12 o'clock, and maybe mom would make you lunch. And then you would still have like this entire day in front of you. Like the amount of, think about that when you were 10, how long a Saturday was compared to now, how long a Saturday is at this age, right? Because I feel like now, what do? You put on a movie, or you do this, or you do that. Next thing you know, it's fucking 3:30 in the afternoon, and you're like, holy shit.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it's fucking 6 o'clock out, and now you're like, oh,
I think it's all relative. It's all depending on what you're doing with it, because you could just as easily get up at 6 a.m., watch cartoons with your kids, and maybe take them to No, I'm just saying, hypothetically, you don't have to do this. I'm just saying you could probably, like, if you're saying like you do one thing and it takes you to the afternoon, you could probably spend your morning doing more things and spreading it out and making the most of that morning, that Saturday morning, and making it last a little more. No?
I think it feels different because you've done it for 42 years.
Well, yeah, that was my point before. If you're doing it over and over again, it's going to feel this like.
But even if you did, even if you kayak
like the Groundhog Day.
Even if you did whatever, even if you did a different thing every weekend, it would still, I feel like it would still just go like this, because that's just what happens to you after a certain time.
Well, also, I think it has to do with how much memory. I think it's a few things working simultaneously. One, how much you could remember, because you're not remembering every weekend that you've ever had. You're remembering probably the highlighted ones, and depending on your mood. 2, when you were...
Wait, hold on. I'm going to have to come back. Hold that thought.
Okay. 2, when you're 20 years old, your memories are, you probably have more space and more things going on, different, newer things happening. When you're 40... there's a little bit of repetitiveness, and you probably have a little more routine in there.
Well, think about this. Let me throw this at you.
Please.
I remember in college, right? I worked through college at the airport. You worked younger part of your life, you worked at a deli, right? We were doing the same thing at around the same time. You remember how long a 4-hour shift would be for work those days? Like it would be at least you would be sitting there an hour and 15 in going, holy shit, like this
That
is
depends.
fucking unbearable.
I used to work 11-hour days, and it would drag. But I could see it. That's my whole relativity point. I could work 11-hour days, and it would feel like all fucking day because it was obviously it was. But I could work the next day. I could do a 6-hour day, and it would feel like it would fly. I'd be like, holy shit, that was a dream.
I never really had that. And I can't tell if it's because we were doing mindless activities, like that work certainly didn't require the amount of mental brain power that this work does, but I feel like our adult life work flies by so much faster because
I think it's all a matter of how I think it's not one thing. I think it's how a few things playing all apart. One, it's how you feel each day. Two, it's because you're comparing yourself to your younger self. It's not the same thing because you have more experience, but you're working with the same mind. It's just you're working on a different scale. When you're a kid, you make the most of it, and you have, a lot of things are new experiences. When you're an adult and you're 40, 50 years old, you're probably cherry picking highlighted events of your life because you've experienced more.
All right, listen to
so
this.
much you could hold.
Some say it's related to how long we have lived. A 5-year-old feels like a year is long because it makes up 20% of their life. Others point to changes in the brain. A 2019 research paper suggests our ability to process visual information slows with age. We perceive fewer mental images, and time feels like it's therefore speeding up.
Exactly. So like I said, if you're 40, 50 years old, you have just the highlighted stuff in your head.
Mm-hmm.
And that feels like it went by so fast because you're only focusing on the 5% of what you've experienced rather than the 40 years that you've gone through. If you had all 40 years worth of weekends in your head, it would probably seem like a long time. But obviously you're going to eliminate most of those weekends.
Yeah, but I'm just talking about pure feel. Like this past Saturday, for instance, it was 1:30, 3 minutes after I got up at 8 o'clock in the morning. Like it was.
Well, what did you do after you got up?
I couldn't even tell you.
So you got up at 8:30 on a Saturday.
Got up.
And you don't remember what you did till 1:30.
Straightened up some stuff in the room, put some stuff away with the kids, put a video on for them, watch a little of the video, food, like this or that. And then it's just like, and then like
that
this
seems
idea
like a lot of stuff. You say it quickly, but it seems like a lot of stuff. You put stuff away.
But I'm saying,
watch the video.
Yeah, but I'm like, at like 2:30, 3 o'clock, we'll put a movie on, which will take us right into dinner, and that'll be the plan. And I'm sitting there, and I'm going, all right, I got to figure out what movie we want to watch, but I got a couple hours to figure that out. And then I look, and I'm like, I'm literally an hour away from when I wanted to put this movie on, and it's the perception of time, obviously. But there's something to it when everybody I speak to over the age of 40 is having the same exact perception. You know what I mean? Like, I want to say it's just us as individuals, but when everybody like you just said, your dad says the same shit. Like, he's because not crazy.
All hindsight. Yeah, because he's looking at it going, man, that 70 years flew by because he's 70. And he's looking back going, I'm already 70. It's like, yeah, but you're looking at 70 years of life and you're not thinking of everything that you ever did. I mean, it's a lifetime's worth of stuff, but you're thinking it went by quickly because you're not thinking of every single day that you went through. You're thinking of the highlighted stuff, and you're probably just compiling,
right?
And going, well,
aside from compiling, how do you explain? I feel like I have 6 hours till I get to noon, and all of a sudden it's 1:30. Like, how do you explain that?
It's time. Time is relative. It really is. It's the whole Einstein thing. If If you're busy, you're not. If you're not watching the clock, if you're not sitting there staring at the clock, if you sat there and stared at a minute, it seems like it takes forever. But if you get up and do stuff, and you get down and you sit back down, you look at the clock, and 3 minutes have gone by because you're not focused on it. It's all relative. It's amazing. Like time and relativity. Like if you really dig deep into it, like we can do a whole 420 show on it if you want.
We should.
It's an insane concept.
Why wait till 420 is my new philosophy. If you couldn't tell by Friday's show.
I'm in, baby.
Paul, that's why I sleep until 1 bird. I don't remember anything before 3 p.m. today.
That's fine too. That's good stuff.
Remember to hit the subscribe button, hit the bell for all the notifications. Great point, Miss Justice.
Yeah. Got a lot of merch in the merch store too. A lot of good shirts and tumblers and stickers, anything you want. Just check them out. Got a lot of cool phrases and things on there.
Good point,
stuff.
Frank. Good point.
Yeah. Figured what the hell.
Fly and why the more sleep the better. Yes, sleep is just.
I love sleep. Isn't it ironic that when you're a kid, you get up for some reason, you get up at like what, 5, 6 o'clock in the morning. You have all this energy. When you're an adult, all you want to do is fucking nap. Like it would be so great if it was the reverse, right? If kids wanted to nap all day, and parents had all this energy.
That's why it was a little. I feel J-Sab's on that because we were sick. Like the whole family was sick. It kind of felt like we just didn't have the little like Christmas break that we were gearing up to have, or are used to having. And now it's kind of like the same thing. Like we're days away from having the flu, but it still feels like I can just hit the bed at any moment and sleep for another 4 hours. Like I could probably do it.
I could sleep. No problem. Anytime someone said lay down and go to sleep, I'd be like, you got it. And I could pass out in 5 minutes, not even.
You can ask my wife. She just walked back into the studio. Yesterday, we ate dinner. I woke up not feeling so great, so I didn't eat anything the entire day. And then we had dinner around, it was late for a Sunday, but what was it, 6 o'clock? By 6:45, I'm on the couch. Cannot keep my eyes open. Sleeping.
Nothing wrong with that.
I mean, that's an old fucking.
No, it's naps are great. I am a huge proponent of naps. Here's my years of nap experience. Here's my best advice. The best time to take a nap is 2 o'clock on a Saturday. Because you have your morning, you do whatever you want on a Saturday morning.
That's good.
You get bagels, you do this, you do that, whatever chores you want to do. Then you take a nice nap, hour, 2 hours, however you want to nap, however long you want to nap. And you get up. It instantly it just turns a Saturday, Sunday weekend into a 3-day weekend because you have your morning, then you wake up you take a nap, you wake up, you have all Saturday now, you have 3, 4, 6 hours left of Saturday, 8 hours left of Saturday. Then you have Sunday. That's like the perfect nap time.
Saturday 2 o'clock nap is good. I'm not going to argue with you there.
That's an amazing. That's probably if I had to pick out of the entire week, the best time to take a nap, Saturday 2 o'clock.
Yeah, I'm with you. But I remember being a kid and making fun of my uncles for just like my uncles would come to visit my grandparents at my house. 2 or 3 uncles, right? And all of them, like they all married into the family, and they'd come, everybody would say hello, my aunts would talk and be with my grandparents, and they would be bickering or fighting or helping or cooking or whatever they were doing, and then you'd look over at the couch and there were these 3 out sucking air after 2
mouths
minutes.
Wide open.
And I would just be like, what is wrong with them? And now if I have the slightest carb, I can't keep my eyes open on the couch.
It's an amazing thing.
You just said a bagel. If Cuddles gets bagels on Saturday morning, a nap is taking place that day. There's no way it's not.
You kidding? You're loading yourself up with bagels and cream cheese and whatever the hell else. And I'm sure it's not just one bagel. If you have half a dozen or a dozen bagels on the table, I'm eating more than one bagel.
Really? You want to know something? You could ask I'm very proud of myself now that you said that. I don't have more than one bagel ever.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I love bagels.
Go back for seconds? No, never a second.
You never went to like wherever, Delhi or Dunkin' Donuts, wherever you want, and said, you know what, this bagel sandwich is great. I'm gonna throw another one in. Let's do 2 of those.
No, I've never done that.
Ah,
I'll tell you what I am
it's a
guilty
little
of.
treat,
though.
my friend. It's a little treat.
I'll tell you what I
It's a
am
wonderful
guilty of,
thing.
which isn't much better. I go like this. Oh, what's that over there? Like a little coffee cake you got? Yeah, throw a fucking cube of coffee cake in there.
You do a little dessert after your bagel.
I would on occasion will have a little dessert with the breakfast, which is not a good thing.
I double up on the entree is my problem.
Interesting.
I go, cinnamon raisin bagel with cream cheese. Make that 2.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in.
Mm-hmm.
That's the way to do it.
Brian the Cannon Bannon says right in the middle of someone's air shift. Hey,
whenever you got to take a nap, it's fine.
I can't speak for other people, but I will tell you this. I have snoozed in the middle of an air shift.
Have you?
Oh, yeah.
Get out.
Oh, yeah.
How long do you have a break? How could that be?
Oh, yeah, dude. No, forget it. Couple times.
Oh, that's ridiculous.
Couple times when I was doing mornings too. I could distinctly remember a few times of just not feeling great and going, oh, I have between this and this and this, I got like a 40-minute, or like this isn't fun to admit, but there was a couple mornings where I wasn't feeling good. I would voice track a couple of breaks.
Just to give yourself a little buffer?
Just to give myself an hour, just to go and just close my eyes. And I have fallen asleep before. Yeah.
That's all right. Hey, listen, sometimes you gotta, just for your own sanity, just hit the snooze, man.
That's why I never fall. Hey, you never heard me making fun of Mike Francesa for falling asleep on the air in the middle of a call-in talk show.
Sometimes the energy just drains right out of you for some reason.
You ever see that video clip?
No.
Mike Francesa is a famous sports talk show host in New York, and he was so popular that they put his radio show, which is as boring as watching this one, on television.
Oh, we're entertaining,
and we're far more entertaining, which just goes to show you how boring his fucking thing was.
By the way, I can't listen to anybody talk about sports.
Oh, and these guys would do it for 5 hours at a clip.
Oh.
So anyway, some guy's talking and he's just like, you just see him fade away. And he's got his head down and the guy's going on and on. And then all of a sudden you see this. And he looks around like,
where the hell am I?
You see him hit the talk back because the caller's still going.
Oh.
And he says something to his producers in the talk back. So you don't hear it, but you see him moving his mouth. Like, where am I? Like, what happened? What just happened?
That's terrible.
Because they must have hit him in the ear. Like, Mike, you're fucking from the city.
Like, bye. You get the poking stick out.
And to this day, I'm pretty sure Brian would probably know better than I. To this day, I think he still denies that he fell asleep. But it's clear as day on the fucking footage.
That's amazing.
He nodded out for a minute there.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
You got to sneak a nap in where you can. I remember working at the deli, at the butcher. I would work literally 10, 11-hour shifts, and there were no chairs in there. I'd be standing all day. So I would go to the bathroom. I'd sit down, and the bathroom, the toilet would be the wall would be right here, and I wouldn't fall asleep because I just couldn't fall asleep at work just because I couldn't.
Yeah.
So I would just close my eyes for like 5 minutes and be like, I just gotta close my eyes. And you just grab whatever you can when you can, That's I would, fake a bathroom break and just go. And I don't have to go. I just got to sit down for a minute.
Dude, when I worked at the airport, it was infamous. There was a bathroom, and you would think somebody's off taking a 30-minute shit. No, you'd walk in and you look at them, and there they would be in the stall like this.
Yeah,
just fucking.
I gotta tell you though, the airport. If I was the boss, I'd be like, yeah. I'm scheduling in some naps for everyone. Because the airport, you don't want anybody fucking up.
Yeah. But especially where I was, you would have a 4-hour shift or a 6-hour shift. Yeah. There would be 2 or 3 planes. There would be long periods of time where you're just sitting there doing nothing.
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
and then you'd have these dicks that were like, "Well, there's always something to do," and it's like, no, there's not. In a real job,
sweep?
Yes. Yeah. We're unloading and loading planes. Once the loading and unloading is done, there's nothing to do but wait for the next plane.
He's an importer-exporter.
Exporter. Yeah.
Yeah, there's nothing to do. What are you gonna? I get it. So if you can grab, if I was the boss, especially in an airport or places like that, or where there's an overall shroud of danger involved, I'd be like, all right, let's maybe everybody gets a 30-minute nap here and there. I feel like that would be part of the workday.
It's what a decent human being would do.
Right?
But later on when I was at LNG, I've told you this though. I fucking put Stairway to Heaven and the Meatloaf song and all that shit. I'd string those together and I'd drive into town and get ice cream.
Those are made for bathroom breaks too. You gotta go to the bathroom. You pop on, depending on your genre of your radio station. You pop on Stairway, Master Puppets, Paradise by the Dashboard Light, whatever 8-minute song you could, American Pie,
Whatever you could do.
Whatever you could do to buy yourself a few extra minutes.
Where this radio station was that I worked at, it was like the most gorgeous. Like John Steinbeck had a house on the lake. Like it was on the lake. You could ask Brian. It's picturesque and beautiful. I'd go put 40 minutes of music on. I'd go outside and smoke a cigar. Sit out on the dock.
See, that's not worth it. You're fired. If I'm your boss, get the fuck out of here.
Oh, the day that they bought like really nice, comfortable patio furniture for the back, I was like, "This is fucking great!" I'm never leaving this place.
See, I'll understand your bathroom break, even the occasional. I dozed off. I could forgive that, but smoking a cigar—that's just gross.
Oh, it was the best. It was the fucking best.
You do that after your shift.
During. I found it was better during.
Or you take the microphone outside with you.
I could have, but that would have really bothered the slow pull that you need for ultimate relaxation.
See, you're fucking fired.
Because I was mad at them because I would be like, "This is stupid. I don't need to be here." I'm like, and they'd be like, "No, it's really important." So part of me was like, "Oh yeah, let me show you how important it is." I could go smoke a cigar and nobody would be any of the fucking wiser.
Nobody knows what's going on. As long as they hear what they have to hear, we're good.
There was one guy that would call and he would be like, "Were you smoking a cigar out there for 45 minutes?" Like, no. He's like, "Because I'm on the other side of the
what the hell's
lake
he doing?
here."
His binoculars and
yeah, he was like, "I could see."
Tabs?
Yeah, I could see. And I would go, "Why don't you mind your fucking business?"
I was like, this number, pal.
I go, "You need something to distract you. How about a pair of tickets to this upcoming concert?" We keep this between you and I. All right.
What's going to make you forget about this? That's funny. How the hell did we get on this?
I don't even know. But Ossiani has a great thing here. When I had my first baby, I was so tired I would go to sleep peeing on the toilet.
Oh God.
I think every woman can attest to this. That is a tired, unlike any other tired. Like as the man who did not produce nor push out the life form from my body.
Mm-hmm.
It was the most exhausting time period in my entire life was when them kids are first born.
See, when you fall asleep standing up to pee, that's when you know you got a problem.
That's true. Yeah, that's true.
All right. So what did Joe Biden predict? Or what did someone predict about Joe Biden? This doesn't seem right to me.
Does it? Because
hit me with it.
It felt good when I read the headline.
It's better than the alternative. I'll tell you that.
So there's strategists over at these big financial firms, right? It's their job to predict housing market and even politics, presidents, so on and so. Like it's their job to do this because whoever becomes the president is going to affect different facets of whatever, right?
Totally.
All that stuff.
JSAB's on camera. What is this?
Oh, I didn't mean to be on camera. I just want to show people that I'm still alive.
Nobody believes it.
We didn't pre-record your voice.
Yeah. It's not. I'm not a deep fake. Here we go. I'm not a deep fake.
What's with the treasure trove of guitars behind you?
Oh.
Yeah. What are you getting ready to go out on tour? The fuck?
Look at this.
That's what I've been doing.
All right.
Playing John Mayer songs.
What are you dating, Joe Satriani? All of a sudden, what's happening here?
Are you playing them, or is your roommate playing them?
No, her roommate.
All right.
Roommate.
In fact, maybe she's getting ready to sell them because she killed him months ago. And
that's possible. I haven't heard from him in a while.
It's kind of weird, right?
It is strange.
I don't know.
Because I'll tell you what, whoever it was she brought to the Christmas dinner, I go, remember that time we went to Atlantic City? And he was like, Oh yeah.
Huh?
And I was like,
Yeah, when that thing happened.
I said to Cuddles, I go, I'm gonna pour some water on him and see what happens.
And see if he fizzles.
Yeah.
Fizzles and sizzles.
He didn't have a belly. He stretched and he didn't have a belly button. That was weird.
Michael Sembelis, Frank, who heads the market and investment strategy unit at JP Morgan Chase, has a shocking forecast, and he has listed 10 surprises for 2024.
Ooh.
Among them is that Joe Biden will drop out of the race sometime between Super Tuesday and the November election, citing health concerns.
I don't see that happening. If you saw I saw bits and pieces. The speech he gave yesterday, he was pissed and raring to go.
He was pissed?
Yeah, I mean, he was, fully charged and attacking Trump and going. I feel like he's gearing up for a fight. I don't think he's backing out.
Really?
I challenge this guy's prediction. What are the other 9 predictions?
Here are some of the other ones. He says that Americans will reject self-driving electric vehicles following several accidents.
That's an easy one. Yeah, they will. But I think self-driving trucks are going to be a thing, but I don't think regular residential, what are they called? Passenger vehicles, I don't think will be a self-driving thing. I don't think that's going to happen this year.
He says that there will be blackouts striking New York, Texas, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, and Tennessee due to natural gas shortages.
Doo-doo.
Doo-doo.
What did you say? Doo-doo?
You said doo-too,
Oh.
and it sounded like doo-doo.
You did.
He predicted that a new inhaled COVID vaccine currently under development will be available this year and sharply reduce transmission of the virus.
Now, did he predict that, or did someone tell him we're working on an inhaled COVID vaccine?
Well, they know that it's under development, but he says it will come out, it will be available this year, and it will sharply reduce.
So that's hardly a prediction, other than it's basically what's going to happen. Like, I'm going to predict that July 4th is going to happen too.
Okay, well, that's bold because I'm not so sure we're going to get there, to be totally honest with you.
Okay. We'll see.
The U.S. dollar would remain stable and that the Russian invasion of Ukraine would drag on this year without a ceasefire. I am amazed that thing is still, like, it doesn't.
Still going.
It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I know.
Ukraine, who knew, is stronger than anybody thought.
I know, but somebody should have won. I don't even know if this is a war anymore.
Well, I don't. It's weird because you haven't really heard anything.
Nothing.
Yeah.
I feel like it's an occasional bombing of an area because there's no
stuff
pushback.
about it.
You never hear like, oh, Ukraine. I mean, it's just a lot of nothing.
Well, there's been stuff about it, but it hasn't been front and center.
No, I know there's been stories, but you can find stories on it. Things are happening, but what's happening is bearing no consequence on the outcome.
It's a tug of war. It's a tug of war where it's pretty evenly matched, and no one's really getting the advantage for the most part. Because, I feel like it's crazy because a lot of the war, correct me if I'm wrong, is being fought in Ukraine, not in Russia. Mm-hmm. So advantage Russia a little bit, but it's very.
But that whole
evenly
country
matched.
Being a superpower can't take over a little tiny Ukraine. Like that doesn't bode well.
Have you seen Ukraine on a map? It's huge.
Ukraine is weak.
You're making fun of Ukraine. No, Ukraine is fucking huge. I mean, it's probably.
I mean, not compared to Russia, though. I mean,
well, not compared to Russia, but most of Russia is barren, snow and undeveloped land. I mean, if you're talking about the Ukraine versus Russia in terms of cities and developed cities, I think they're Ukraine's got a lot of space that, I mean, yeah, Chernobyl didn't help, but outside of Chernobyl, they got a lot of cities and a lot of land that
it just feels, I'll tell you what,
they're matched up.
I'll tell you what's so uncomfortable about it. It's Iraq, Vietnam, you name it, industrial military complex all over again. It's like,
That's every war.
Let's do enough so that we have to keep giving aid and keep buying bullets and tanks and bullshit and sending it over there. And, we get the government contracts and all. It just feels like
Well,
feels like a lot of nothing at this point. Like
it's not a
somebody
lot
kill
of
somebody
nothing.
and end this fucking thing already. Like enough. You can't just.
I would love for this thing to be over. It would be great. It's just how long could it last? I don't know.
How long
wars
can you
last
continue
years.
to bomb inconsequential locations in the UK? Like whatever happened to capture the capital, capture the like?
You're thinking laser tag rules. It doesn't work like that.
Capture
You can't
the
just
flag.
you can't just
Let's
capture
go.
the flag and it's over.
Let's go.
You may be bombing a place, but whoever seizes control of that, I mean, just because the building's knocked down or whatever, it doesn't mean it's still not a stronghold of someone's military.
There are
what
huge parts of that country that it doesn't. I mean, people say this. This is not me being hyperbole.
No one's
They,
saying this.
you
This
go.
is you.
They
This
go.
is all
You can't tell there's a war going on. People are going to work. People take the subway.
In different parts of the country. The country, like I told you, the country is huge.
Yeah, I don't know.
Look at Ukraine on the map. It's gigantic. It's bigger.
I just feel like if anybody started attacking California, we would make sure that this ended quickly, not just be like, all right, we'll figure that California thing out when we get around to it.
California is part of our country, not its own separate country. And also it's pales in comparison in terms of size.
It's not part of my America. I'll tell you that right now. Am I right, DeSantis? These were the men.
Well, let me see. I'm going to show you. I mean, it's just a huge freaking place on the map.
I don't think it's that huge.
All right.
What?
I also think that if, again, you're a superpower, you should be able to take it over in a relatively quick amount of time.
You say that, but...
And if you can't take it over in a relatively quick amount of time, your opponent should be able to topple you over if you can't handle a little tiny country that has no desire to be fighting you in the first place.
Well, it's not a little tiny country.
I was going to say...
I mean, I don't know how to scale this map is, but if you look at the yellow is Ukraine.
That's Spain,
right?
Frank.
Right. No, over here.
Oh, okay.
That's Ukraine. That's Russia, the red.
What's northern Ukraine? Is that Norway or more Ukraine up there?
What are we talking about here?
Is that Norwegia?
Where are we talking about?
Top left next to the purple. Top right from the purple. What is that? Norway?
This purple?
Up
Purple
high.
Nurple?
Up on top, that's Finland, Sweden, and Norway of the three things up here.
Pick those out. I couldn't pick those three out of the map.
All right. But Ukraine is huge. And compared to Russia, Russia's gigantic. But most of Russia is snowy.
Okay, granted. But I could fit 17 Ukraines in Russia. Either take this fucking thing over or get the fuck out. Like, you can't just be like, oh, we bombed another weird apartment building up in the northern region today. We're winning.
Yeah, but they're more formidable than you think, and I can't. They also, this war's been going on, and they're getting help from us and God, and whomever else. So it's not like they're on their own. It's not like it's Ukraine versus Russia. It's Ukraine with us and whomever else versus Russia.
All right. Michael also thinks that the stocks of the U.S. regional banks will do well despite the instability in the lending sector.
Who the hell is this guy?
This is what he does. He predicted that Biden would bow out partly based on the president's low approval rating, despite around 10% job creation since his inauguration. The strategist noted that Biden's high job creation figures are the byproduct of his inauguration, coinciding with the rollout of the COVID vaccines and the reopening of the U.S. economy. He did not speculate on who would take over the Democratic nomination.
I don't see it. I don't see him bowing out. I could be wrong. He could be wrong. I just don't see him with
Can
the
I tell you
momentum he's
something?
got right now. Yeah.
I'm praying one of them drops dead randomly, and I don't even care which one. And I know that's terrible.
Nice.
It wouldn't bother me either way for one of them just to be like dead.
All right. Let's say Biden drops out or whatever happens. Who are you thinking should jump in?
I'll tell you. You want to know what my hope is? On the way to the presidential debate, both of their limos hit each other head on, and they both go flying through the windshield and die.
And smash, and they die.
We have to just start over with two new people fresh.
That's not nice. I if they both bowed out, that'd be great.
That's not nice, but I bet you if we went to poll the live chat right now, everybody would be on board with that. There's not one person that would be like, no, no, no. I think one of these guys is really going to take us to the problem. Even the Trumpy people would be like, okay, I'll settle. I'll settle for a wash. That's fine.
Wash.
I just swear to God, I feel like that's the truth. We
I
would
don't
love it if two planes hit each other in the middle of the air and it was both of their planes.
I don't know, man. I just give everybody knows my feel. I'm not even going to speculate or anything.
Give me
Everybody
Gavin
knows.
Newsom versus Ron DeSantis any day of the week. I'll take that. I'd rather choose between those two zeros than these two older zeros.
You're just worried about the age. Is that the thing?
I'm just bored. You know me, Frank. I need a little freshening up. I need something new. I need something hip on the edge. It's
politics. What the
it's
fuck
like
do you
if
want?
you- if
It's
it's
not
like
going to
if
be
you
hip.
said-
It's not going to be on the edge. It's politics. You
It's
want
like if you said,
I want
let's-
it as boring as possible.
What are you talking about?
the election. It's like if you said, let's watch
Oh.
the Golden Girls over again. I'd be like, I can't sit through.
I'd
Oh,
love
no.
it. I'll go
80-year-old
watch it
jokes.
right now. I'll fucking no, they're great. They kidding? You think Golden Girls jokes, but they're so ahead of their time. They work. The Golden Girls jokes work. They're amazing.
I was putting my kids to bed, right?
Mm.
Earlier, and they asked me, they go, what was your favorite movie when you were a kid?
Mhm.
And I was like, that's a really good question. I mean, I could have said 1,000 things, but the first thing that came to my mind, which is one of my favorite movies of all time, was
Big
Back
Lebowski.
to the Future.
Oh, okay.
Not when I was a kid, kid like their
Oh, okay.
age. And I tried to explain to them that when Back to the Future came out and they went into the future, that was 8 years ago.
Yeah. 2015.
And they were just looking at me like, how fucking old are you? I'm like, very
Pretty
old.
dark. Have they seen Back to the Future?
No, but I was like, do you guys want to watch it this weekend? And they were like, you know what movie I like? Super Mario Brothers. Let's watch that instead. And I'm
There
like,
you
"All right,
go.
getting right with it."
Peaches, 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 peaches.
Yeah.
Oh
It's a good
my
movie.
goodness.
Jay Sabs, what's going on with your seasonal depression?
Yeah, what's up?
I mean, that's it really.
It's
the
just because
golden-
of the seasons.
Yeah, it's because big build up to Christmas, go crazy, go nuts, and then back to work. Oh, you know what? Also, the week between Christmas and New Year's, it's like you're off and you get in a mode, and now you have to go back. But at least I
Hell
don't
yeah.
have to go back full time.
I'm telling you, January, a very depressing month.
It is.
Would it help if I threw a big Super Bowl party? Would that
Yeah.
give you something to look forward to?
Can I tell you something? The only thing I have to look forward to is the Super Bowl.
Yeah, but you don't even like football. You just want to. You just want to watch it for the halftime show. Who is it?
Usher. And that's
Ursher?
not even it either. I like wings. I just
Yeah, that's
Yeah, the
true.
food. The food is the best part of the Super Bowl.
I agree. So it's like, yeah, I know, and it's later this year. It's February 11th. Like,
yeah,
what?
it is.
Wow.
But I watched the Golden Globes. Cuddles and I watched the entire show, basically because it's this weird desire to connect with people and
I know.
like award shows. Like suddenly, like I'm like, oh,
That put me in a better mood.
I was just interested. I didn't care, but I was happy to be a part of something that everybody was a part of.
Yes,
That's nice. It's a
Which
sense
is
of
why-
community.
that's why I watched it. Like, I didn't watch the whole thing. I watched part of it,
Yeah.
which, oh God, there was so much drama going on that I enjoyed that too. So I was like,
There
okay.
was.
Well, what did you
Yeah.
think? Because I think that the drama with Joe Coy.
Who the hell is Joe Coy, by the
You don't
way?
know who Joe Coy is?
You don't know
I'm
who
sorry.
he is?
No, I haven't. I've never heard of this guy other than since yesterday was the first time I've ever heard of him in my life.
Okay, I've known Joe Coy for 15 years at least.
Known of him or known him? Like
known
you
of
know
him.
Okay.
Known of him. I don't know him personally. No.
Okay.
But I feel like if you watch Chelsea Handler back in the day, he was such a big part of that show. And she was huge.
Yeah.
And then he's gone on to have like big Netflix specials.
He also dated her, banged her.
Yeah, he
Chelsea
did bang
Handler.
her, right?
Well, they were going out for quite some time, so
He's the best kind of a person because he says he's Filipino, but he looks like a white guy. He's like Louis C.K. Like, remember how Louis C.K. was like, "Oh, I'm Mexican," and you're like, "The redheaded white guy is Mexican."
right, exactly.
All right,
I'd never heard of this guy before yesterday. I was like,
So-
who's this guy hosting the Golden Globes?
Yeah, and so you want to know what's funny? All the magazine articles going into Sunday were who is Joe Coy, and this is who he is. And then he said one thing about Taylor Swift, and everybody was like, "Isn't Joe Coy the shittiest Golden Globes host ever?" Like, I'm like, what the fuck did this guy do to get this shitty press?
And to be fair, he didn't even deliver it. He like laughed halfway through it. I didn't think his delivery was very good. If he's a comedian,
Well, you know what's strange? I swear to God. So I'm watching the Giant game because again, I'm just trying to have some connection with humanity because it feels like there's just nothingness now, right?
Yeah.
And so they're like, oh, "Stay tuned for the Golden Globes." And because Cuddles goes, "I think the Golden Globes are tonight." I'm like, "No, it can't be." And she's like, "I think so." So then they're like, "Oh, stay tuned for the Golden Globes. Joe Coy's hosting." I'm like, "Oh, Joe Coy's hosting the Golden Globes. How interesting." And he comes on and goes, "I got this job 10 days ago." So I'm like, "Oh, that's a joke." I looked it up. He wasn't joking. He had gotten the job like just
Who
before
backed
Christmas. So I said the same thing. Who backed out? Nobody. They
So who
couldn't.
dragged their ass?
They could not get somebody to host that fucking show.
That's insane.
That is how thankless that job has become. They went to Chris Rock, who obviously was going to pass. They supposedly went back to Ricky Gervais, who told them to go fuck off.
So they went to the two people that were obviously never going to do it.
Amy Poehler and brunette Amy
Tina
Poehler.
Fey.
Thank you. They've hosted it a ton. Supposedly they passed as well.
I could think of a dozen people that would have done it.
Ali Wong, who's again upcoming comedian stand-up. She's got this show Beef that won a ton of awards actually. So she was there and was like, "There's no fucking way I'm getting up there and doing jokes."
There's a million people that you go to. John Mulaney probably would have hosted it. Anybody, Jon Stewart. They asked all these people.
Libs.
I'm sorry.
I said, get more libs.
Well, give me a non-lib comedian.
Can I tell you something? As popular as Joe Coy is, Mulaney and Stewart are higher up on the list than he is. So
Yeah.
Of course they are.
if that offer got to him, that means that they passed. There's just no way that they didn't offer
That's
it to
why I
John
was-
Mulaney.
That's why I was like, who the hell is Joe Coy? There's got to be 150 people that they must
Nobody
have
wants
asked.
to do it anymore. And for this very reason, because the guy, and I didn't think he bombed too bad. I thought he had a couple of laughs in that. But by the way, that room sucks. Like outside of Amy Poehler and Tina Fey
Get Billy Crystal.
or Billy Crystal back in the day, who was doing all safe stuff, like who's really torn that room apart?
Gervais.
Not really though, but people didn't love him in that room. In the room,
Tore that
everybody.
room apart.
I mean, with laughter. Everybody outside laughed, but everybody inside did not like being called a friend of Jeffrey Epstein. And
That's what I'm
Oh
saying.
yeah, I saw that before.
So it's like nobody. It's a thankless. That's become a shitty, thankless job.
That's not. See, if you're an up and coming comedian or you're an established comedian, hosting the Golden Globes, that just a big
No,
notch
not
in your
anymore.
belt?
I'll tell you
Something,
why.
something to put
Well, I
on your
think that's-
resume.
I think that's why he took it. But go ahead, Jenny. What were you gonna say?
Because look what happens to everybody who hosts. Suddenly there's things from their past that get put online and now they feel like they have to apologize for something they said 20 years ago.
Like who?
What's his
Kevin
face?
Hart.
Kevin Hart.
Kevin Hart.
And then
But
who
there
was
are
someone-
100
else
other
was-
people that don't have shit in their past that they could, just grab.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Gaffigan, Jim
People-
Gaffigan was there and he presented an award. Why not get him to host the whole thing? I'm sure he would have done it,
I bet you he turned it down.
but he presented.
Bet he
Mhm.
presented. Yeah. It's an easier job. You show up, you get a $30,000 basket. You go, "Oh, here's this thing, and here's the nominees, and here's your fucking envelope."
Yeah,
There
but
you
if
go.
if your career, like if you got a good career going, and then you have like a lull in your career, wouldn't hosting the Golden Globes be a little bit of a boost for you?
Well, I think Joe Coy got a boost because people looked him up and whatever.
Yeah,
But
of course he did.
I'm not sure if he sold any more tickets today than he did because
He kind of bombed. But if you're good and you're worth, anybody, there are a million comedians. Whitney Cummings, who's the new host of the of one of the late night shows? I forget her name, but she's Tomlinson.
oh yeah,
She could have done it. That would have been a great plug for her new show.
I bet you they didn't even let her do it. I bet you they would say. I bet you they probably said, we need to put her over. There's no way we're putting her in front of that fucking audience to die in their bullshit.
Mhm.
Oh, just put her in a safe spot on the show, on her show.
Why risk it? You want this woman to host that show for the next 15 years. You want her to stumble out of the gate with a bad
Yeah, I guess
Golden
so.
Globes appearance?
That's a good point.
No way.
But you got a team of writers. Get the
Believe me when I tell you, man, everybody said no to that
That's
job,
crazy.
which is why they only hired somebody just before Christmas.
Or do what they did a few years ago, where they had no host and they had.
Oh, that was even worse.
Well, what are you gonna do? Either have a host that's shitty, or have no host and just have different segments. I don't know, man. I feel like there's had to be someone out there. Jim Carrey, anybody. Jim Carrey's doing nothing. He wouldn't do it. But I'm just saying, someone who's not a nominee and not a presenter. There's got to be actors and comedians out there that did they ask everyone?
I just like watching it. It was okay. Like he did okay. He did fine. There were some things that I really laughed out loud with. But you go and you look at every article on him today, and it's like the guy didn't deserve any. Like they treated him worse than Putin today. I mean, it's fucking horrifying what they've said about this guy, and he didn't do anything wrong. Like one joke he said, he goes, "I got this job 10 days ago. I didn't write all these. The ones that are not funny, I didn't write." I laughed at that. I thought that was funny.
That's funny. That's fun. I'm sure he had a few good ones. The Barbie stuff was stupid. The stuff he was saying about Barbie, that was dumb.
I didn't even think that was that bad. People were like, "That's why they made Barbie." It's like, no, that's why he's making that joke. Like that's the point of the movie is pointing out the same hypocrisy that he's making in the joke. It's a joke. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
I know that, but not. See, you're saying every joke is safe. It's not. That's not
every
the
joke.
case.
Every one of them.
That's not the case. Because when you make a joke, you're putting yourself out there, and you're saying something with every joke.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's not always 100% of a joke.
Yep.
To say that Barbie was it's not funny if you say it was masterfully written. Like obviously it was masterfully written. It was downright brilliant. But yeah, that's not funny.
No, of course
How
not.
is that funny?
But to get up there and say, "Oh, this movie is all about a doll with big boobs," it's like,
no. He said it was written. What did he say? It was written. It was something on a box. Like they made a movie out of like what was written on the box, basically.
I don't know, but it didn't.
Joke.
And I feel like as if he's a professional comedian, he didn't deliver it the right way. It just seemed like they got someone to read jokes on the stage. He didn't seem like a seasoned guy.
Yeah, because and you know what? He's not a Hollywood guy. That's the problem.
Hollywood or not, if you're a stand-up comic, you shouldn't be. You should be pretty well versed in this.
But I'm saying Amy Poehler and brunette Amy Poehler, whatever her name is, they're Hollywood people. They're one of them. They will laugh at that.
Yeah.
Ever since Gervais, I don't think that they're very happy to see stand-up comics. Like you brought up Jim Gaffigan. Jim Gaffigan gets up there and goes, "They've been doing this show for 80 years, and this is the first year they're giving away a stand-up comic. Like finally, they invited the talented people."
Everybody laughed at that
at home. It was minimal laughing in the audience.
People laughed. I thought they found it funny because he's a likable person. They know him. He's familiar. I didn't know who the hell this Coy was. I literally never heard of him before yesterday's show.
Check out his Netflix
feel like
special. It's good.
I'm sure he's fine, and I'm sure he's hysterical. But I'm sure most of the room was like, "Who the hell is this guy?" If they would have got a Gaffigan or someone the caliber of the room was familiar with.
Yeah. But
They would have had the laughs.
it's strange that you have a guy like Joe Coy who has been slaying for years and has gotten to such amazing heights with Netflix specials and crazy world tour. Like he sells arenas when he goes out. There's not a lot of there's more now than ever before, but there's not a lot of comics who can sell an arena out, and he's one of them. And he goes into that room and people are like, fuck you, who cares? Like it's just so horrifying.
He may sell out arenas, but from the few clips I've seen, he didn't seem very seasoned. He didn't seem like he knew what he was doing up there. He seemed very like amateurish. He was laughing through his jokes and he was kind of stumbling around. It was just not like he skipped rehearsals, kind of.
I'll tell you, it was funny. Some of the presenters were hilarious. Like the one guy got up there and he goes, "I can't believe Bruce Springsteen's sitting right there." And he's like, he had just won for movie of the year or something. He's like, "This is crazy. Bruce Springsteen's like right there." And they're like, "This is your moment." He's like, "I know, but it's like, it's Bruce. He's so close." He's like, "I've been trying to talk to you all night. I can't get,
Yeah.
Somebody said suck it to Pedro Pascal. Who was that? That was
Kieran Culkin.
Oh, Kieran Culkin. He was funny. That was hysterical when he was like, "Suck it, Pedro.
Suck it. That's mine." Pedro found that funny. See, there's a joke that Pedro Pascal, he was hysterical laughing. He was like, that was funny.
Yeah. A couple of other moments that I found interesting. I didn't know that Timothée Chalamet was dating one of the Kardashian girls.
Yeah, I think that was a big revelation for everybody last night.
I knew that.
That's a shame because that kid had talent.
2 weeks ago.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
2 weeks ago. That's it. But she's the one that was with Travis Scott.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh, Travis Scott's out of the picture? I didn't know that.
I guess so. Because I guess he was fucking somebody else behind her back.
Oh,
which is kind of crazy because she's gorgeous. Both of the Jenner girls are gorgeous.
Well, she's had so much work done though. Like she really,
which is a shame too, because
see what she looked like before.
Just a natural beauty, an absolute natural beauty.
Well,
didn't need any work. I thought the Jenner girls were really pretty.
Which one is this one?
She looked different.
Yeah.
Which one is Chalamet dating?
One of the Jenner.
Kylie Jenner. Search Kylie Jenner before surgery.
I thought they were all just cute girls. But that Kardashian vagina will suck the talent and luck out of any man. It's a shame because Chalamet, I had a lot of high hopes for him, and he's done for.
What was he in?
Dune.
The latest
Willy Wonka.
Willy Wonka. Yeah, he did the prequel to Willy Wonka.
He was in Little Women. A couple other things.
I feel like he was the next Leo. He was like the up and coming, young, good looking kid that everybody loves.
He seemed a little full of himself, though. A little arrogant in my. Like he's mugging all the time, and he's like, "Oh, I know I'm big shot." So a little.
It's not going to matter.
Not as
humble. He's going to be around for much longer. I mean, his time is as limited as a Pete Davidson relationship. It's only a matter of time, and it'll be over.
I hear you.
Yeah.
Just word to the wise: he shouldn't tattoo her name on himself.
No, he shouldn't. Okay, a couple of weird kiss moments. Who's the guy who played the Hulk?
Mark Ruffalo?
Okay, Mark Ruffalo is in Poor Things or whatever that was. He wins and jumps up, and there's this moment where his wife wants to like hug him, and some other dude kisses him on the lips, like right in front of the wife.
Who's the other dude? Do you know?
I don't know who the other dude was, but that legit happened. Like they had this moment where they kissed, like cheek kiss, and then all of a sudden he just fucking planted one on Mark Ruffalo, and I'm like, how long has he been waiting to do that? Because
did he then turn and kiss his wife?
No, because it like they had to get up there. Like the moment was so bizarrely awkward.
That's weird.
And weird.
You at least, I mean, if he's gonna do, that's a weird moment for your friend to do that, and then not to turn and go, all right, let me kiss my wife.
Yeah, and the wife is just standing there watching some dude kiss her husband, and she's just like, "Oh, okay, I guess I won't celebrate with." Like, and it wasn't Ruffalo's fault; it was the other dude's fault. Like,
I wonder who the hell that was.
somebody search this. Like whoever he had like a salt and pepper hair too. It reminded me of, this is gonna sound weird, but there was a random, and this made national headlines. Dave Matthews is playing a show. They have this big finish. Him and the violin player almost collide, and Dave turns at the last moment, and the violin player kisses him on the lips. And Dave like pulls back, like, what the like, like I would rather we hit each other, hit heads, And it was national news the next day. And the violin player goes and does TMZ and press for it and everything like that.
What?
And yeah, like being like, oh, it was just an accident. It was a weird joke thing. It was no big deal. Then 6 months later, we find out that he's a weirdo pervert who's been jerking off into other dudes' socks and sexually harassing people. The violin player. This is why they kicked him out of the band.
Oh, that's right.
And then you're like, oh my God, he's a weird. Like, how long has he been dreaming of kissing Dave Matthews? And he finally took a shot that one night. Like, that's what it reminded me of.
Did his first name, by any chance, was it Anthony?
No. No, it wasn't. I wouldn't apologize. If I tried to kiss Dave Matthews, I'd be like, this is 40 years of man love coming out.
I didn't hear you say you wouldn't jerk off into one of his socks.
My whole life has been leading up to this.
I have to go because I had to do so. I'm annoyed now because I wanted to stay, but I have to help Gaetano with something. Help him with something, quote unquote.
Tell him you're busy.
Suspicious.
Yeah, I know.
I wanted to get your input on the next weird kiss thing that happened.
So Mark Ruffalo, it was Rami Youssef.
Is that who it was?
What's the next weird kiss?
Okay, so I didn't see this until clips today, but Ali Wong wins for something. Ali Wong, young Asian comedian. She kisses, who played Barry?
Bill Hader.
Bill Hader. Did you see that?
I heard about that. I didn't see it. I heard about it.
She kissed little peck on Bill Hader's lips, like, oh, and everybody's like, oh, are they together? And then goes up to accept the award and thanks her children's father for allowing her to live the life that she's living as a single mom who works. And then they cut back to the table, and Bill Hader looks at the other dude who's sitting there like, I guess I didn't get give the whole, I guess I'm nothing. And that was a little weird thing.
Oh, I missed that, but they have been dating.
Yeah, I didn't know that. I didn't know Bill Hader was dating Ali Wong.
Didn't know that.
Also, I love that show, Beef. Did you see it?
No, is it good? It won a lot of awards.
It's weird, but it's so good.
All right, I gotta watch. What is that on?
Netflix.
Okay, because I like Bear, and Beef's
shot.
not far off from that. So,
real quick before I go, oh my god, the things I would do to the guy from the Bear. What's his name? Jeremy Allen White. Oh my goodness gracious.
The Bear guy?
You. Oh my god.
He's a little young for you, right?
No, he's not young. He ain't young for me. Oh, you. I see what you're saying. I see what
you like the older men.
He, I believe in Jesus now because I saw his Calvin Klein ad. Ladies.
Oh boy.
Ladies, do yourself a favor. Get yourself a nice glass of wine. Charge up that vibrator, and just look at pictures of him.
Dude, when I tell you, I'm fascinated by this guy. Because I look at him and I go, that's the ugliest motherfucker. If that guy went to our high school, he would be abused nonstop for being a coked out looking dweeb with a huge nose and bad hair. Like, just, you would have no problem slamming his face into, he's so fucking ugly. And every woman is reacting the way she's reacting.
I liked him from Shameless, though, because I thought he was hot from Shameless. I did.
Well, everybody thought he was going to be, or he should have been, Willy Wonka.
Oh yeah,
he looks like a young Gene Wilder.
He does look like him. There was a thing though. Right before I go, I'm going to say this. Taylor Swift and what's her friend over there? What's that girl? The one
Selena
from
Gomez?
Only Murder. Yeah, Selena. There's a whole big thing today. Selena Gomez was telling Taylor Swift and her friend at the table that she asked Timothy for a picture. And Kylie said no, that they couldn't take a picture together.
Really? Why?
Yeah. And I don't know.
I was a little jealous.
I don't really know.
There's bullshit there between Kim Kardashian and Taylor Swift.
Thank you, Paul, by the way. I agree.
That's why it was funny. But lip reading experts, and they did have some audio, and you could clearly see her saying it. And everyone and the girl's face is like, "What? Like she said no to you that she couldn't take a picture with him?"
Couple of yeah, that's strange.
I'm surprised that Selena Gomez didn't sit with Taylor Swift.
Yeah, I know.
Like I get it, she was at the only murderers in a building table, but still, I feel like if
I wonder what the
three of us were at an award show, we would not be sitting at separate tables. Like,
we
Speak for
wouldn't
yourself.
because we're all associated with the same thing, and we're friends. But they, they have to sit with their people that they did the shows with.
I guess so, but it's fucking Taylor Swift. You go, hey.
I wonder if there's a seating.
AD, it's time. You got to sit somewhere else.
Frank wouldn't sit with us. He would sit with a table of his neighbors.
I'd sit with Nicolas Cage and.
Have you seen him lately? Oh my God, he looks horrendous.
He's 60 years old. He just turned 60 like the other day.
Yesterday, it was his Joe Coy wished him a happy birthday on
There you go.
on the show. Yeah,
I want to steal the Declaration of Independence.
That was a great movie. By the way,
that is a good movie, but he is scary. Okay, that's it.
Love that.
That's all from your girl.
who's the blonde that I like?
You got to be a little more specific.
I know who
from the Hunger Games.
Yeah, what's her name?
Jennifer Lawrence.
Yeah.
Oh, she was great. She's hysterical.
When she goes, if I don't win, I'm leaving.
I'm leaving. She stole the show. She was funny.
Great.
She is hysterical.
I think she's fantastic.
She always gives us. She always gives a great interview. She's always hysterical. She's very good. And what was that movie she was in?
Where she flashed her vagina and boobs for absolutely no reason.
Guess what? It wasn't her.
That was a good movie.
That was her.
I do not think that was her because I do not think that she would allow a full bush on screen.
It was. I saw the movie. It wasn't
great.
No. It was a dark, like a beach scene, so it wasn't very well lit. So it was very shadowy. So you didn't, it wasn't like it was.
I'll tell you why.
Most vaginas are.
Why I don't think it's her.
Anyway.
Because
they CGI'd her face on someone else's body.
It's very choppy, that scene. It just doesn't flow correctly.
Maybe
go back and watch it.
I tell you what I heard. I heard it was Timothy Chalamet's vagina. That's what I heard.
Could have been. It could have been. Very well could have been.
That kid.
But she was great.
He was going to be something one day, Frank. I'm telling you right now.
All right. But she was funny. Good. Erin made a good point before, and she brought it up.
Doesn't sound like Erin.
The speeches weren't that great. Everybody gave a weird. Like what am I doing here? Speech, and I'm so confused, and I wasn't prepared for this, and I'm gonna rank on someone else because I don't know what else to say. Nobody's speeches were really that great, the thank you speeches.
Just Kieran, I thought was good. I thought Robert Downey's was okay.
I didn't see Robert Downey's. We didn't see his, but everybody else's for some reason
it was
very. I wasn't prepared. Like you're at an award ceremony where you have a 1 in 5 shot of winning. Yeah. Maybe prepare a little something.
Jot something down just in case. Yeah.
If you're not going to write it down on a piece of paper, have something in your mind that you're going to thank a certain amount of people.
By the way,
anything.
The girl from the Holdovers won, and she pulled a couple of pages out of her titties. She was like, "I got a couple of pages I put in my titties just in case I win, and here you go. I'm going to read it out."
By the way, Erin and I watched the Holdovers.
Stop it.
And we friggin' loved it.
Really?
I thought it was great.
We have made a moment happen.
Yeah, she won Best Supporting. Paul Giamatti won.
He won. Wasn't he fucking spectacular?
He's always good, and he was great. It was such a heartwarming movie, and we enjoyed it. It was very good. And we watched Saltburn. Did you see that?
We did too. Yeah, Saturday night.
Not as good. As good as we enjoyed. The Holdovers way better.
No, I'm with you. My shock face was that movie Saltburn. I was looking at D and I go, I don't even know what we're watching. I don't even know what this is.
It was weird. It was very not. Yeah, it was a mind screw.
We are going to talk about Saltburn and the Holdovers at nauseam. Like let's wait till the Oscars go. Let's give everybody a little bit of time to watch them. I think we should dedicate a whole podcast to Saltburn because that
A whole
movie,
podcast to Saltburn, maybe.
dude, that movie, there were several times in that movie where I almost vomited.
Yeah. Oh, 100% almost vomited. Yeah.
And then I almost was like, who would write? Like when you think about all the demented things you've seen in films, this one was by far the most demented.
It was very demented. Plus, it's hard. Like
3 moments.
usually in
there are
every,
3. I feel like 3 moments. So you know what they are?
I'm thinking. I have 3 in my head. I know 2 definite moments.
There's 2 definite ones, and then the last one was. It's hard to. We'll talk about it off the air. I don't want to spoil it for anybody.
Don't spoil anything. But that movie, because there was no one I was really rooting for. Everybody was like kind of a jerk. Nobody was really the guy that you were like, yeah, I hope he makes it, or he's the
right.
I was like, this. Everybody sucks, and I don't care who comes out on top here. And not only that, it was just there was no chance. I don't want to spoil it, but there was no reason to suspect the ending.
Okay, can I tell you something? There was no reason to make that movie.
There's also no reason to make that movie.
Walks into my office and goes, "Here's my pitch," and lays out the plot lines of that. Get the fuck out! I would be like, "I'm going to pay for you to get help because this is so bizarre." I'll tell you, Uncle Glory Hole. We are on the phone. He goes, "I go, what are you doing?" He goes, "Hey, we just finished watching Saltburn." I'm on such a high from the holdovers. I'm like, all right. What is it on?
Did Uncle Glory Hole watch the holdovers?
No, no. I've been telling everybody, and he goes,
Glory holdovers. Aaron goes, Glory holdovers.
He goes, I go, what's it on? Amazon Prime. I go, we got that. It's Saturday night. We're looking for something to do. Let's put it on. I was like, I fucking hate this. I just hated I'm like, is this a comedy? Is it a horror movie? Like, I don't even know.
Saltburn. Yeah, it was.
The tone was all like the whole fucking thing enraged me. When we got through it, I felt like
I was uncomfortable through the whole movie.
The whole movie.
Number 2, I hated. Like in most movies, you're like, oh, this is a good person, this is a cool person. I want to get to know. But everybody in that movie, I was like, you're all jerks.
You hate everybody in the movie.
Everybody.
And there's not a redeeming character.
No, they're all
in
dicks.
The film. Yeah. It's so weird. But the holdovers
was heartwarming. I had one complaint about the holdovers, but it's minor and it doesn't make it, it's fine.
Let me hear what this is. Why do you have to ruin everything?
I can't. Well, it would ruin I could talk to you off the air because it would ruin the movie.
All right. I don't want to say anything, but there's this scene. I can't even say it.
Don't say it. If you don't ruin it. People in the chat and people watching and listening, The Holdovers, highly recommend. Great movie. My opinion, better than Oppenheimer.
Yes. Oh, way better. It's the best movie of the year. There's just no
best movie of the year.
I want to see American Fiction because I love Jeffrey Wright, and I haven't seen that yet. I think it's just in like small theaters right now. Mm-hmm. And that supposedly is getting some rave reviews too. But
that's not this year, right? That would
be
was that nominated for anything?
I think it might have been nominated. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
All right. I didn't think it made it under the wire.
But out of all, I saw Barbie this weekend too. I finally saw that. We saw Oppenheimer when it came out. I've seen mostly all of the big films. There might be 1 or 2 that I haven't really seen.
Right.
But The Holdovers by far just it's a delight.
And it's one of those movies that it's just, you watch them and you like the characters and you're rooting for people and you're.
Mm-hmm.
It's just there's no crazy effects and it's not an out there movie.
I think it's like 2 hours, but in the first 40 minutes, maybe less, you're like watching the first 8 minutes and you're like, oh, it's gonna be this kind of movie, and then something happens and you're like, oh, okay, maybe it's gonna be this kind of movie then, and then something else when the helicopter comes, I go, oh, this is this is gonna be something completely different.
Yeah, it just has different. It was like chapters in a book. It was like, oh, okay, and it was very well done. I don't know who directed it, but kudos. Good job.
And how good the kid was good. Paul Giamatti
good.
was great, but the girl, I felt like that girl,
Mary, she was great.
for the amount of screen time she had, she almost really steals the film from.
Yeah, no, she
From
was great. Paul Giamatti, one of those characters that you wish you knew
Yeah.
in real life. You're like, oh, yeah, I could, because he's relatable. He's a guy that you're like, not that you know exactly this guy, but you're like, I could kind of see growing up and knowing a guy like this. Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Mary, your heart goes out to Mary, and you're like, yeah, you just relate with all these characters. Everybody's got something else going on, and you're like, they're all relatable, cool.
Yeah.
People that have been through shit, and it's like there's so much depth to each person. And you're like, this is well written and well acted.
And it takes you the whole film really to discover who these people really are.
Yeah,
which is
it does.
Kind of nice. I mean, that reminds me of like old school, like of Mice and Men, when you're like, when they're in the bunkers and they're looking around at all the characters and you're figuring out how they got to this place and they're telling you their backstory and all this stuff, and you're just all circumstances pushing these people together. That's kind of what this movie is like. It's like none of them had control over their lives, and now here they all are, and look at what they're going through, and
Yeah, and they've got each other, and it's just a very, it's it's funny. It's what Good Will Hunting should have been. Good Will Hunting, in my opinion, sucked. I hated Good Will Hunting, and so does Aaron, and we were just
really. Oh, I liked it.
I couldn't stand it. It was just it's not your fault. It's like, shut up, get away from me.
Come on, I had to go see about a girl. That's so. Robin Williams is amazing in that.
There are a million other movies that Robin Williams should have won for. I'm sorry, but they gave it to Robin Williams because it was time to give it to Robin Williams. But he should have won 3 times before that movie. At minimum.
It's too late in the podcast to start arguing with you about this. It really, it's
not what
it is
garbage movie.
But I'm telling you, huge belly laughs in that movie. Like there were moments where I can't wait to end the podcast so I could tell you what I thought the moment that was the most hilarious to me in that fucking movie. It was so fucking funny. But how did they do it with the eyes?
I think it was CGI'd.
You think so?
And I thought his eyes were really like that, because I remember his eyes are kind of bugged out and weird. But you look at him, and then afterwards I was like, because I kind of sort of remember him like that. He's got bug out eyes. But then I saw pictures of him and clips, and I'm like, no, his eyes aren't really like that. But because there was a trivia item. If you look on IMDb, Aaron pointed out it switches for some reason. I guess it's a goof.
Sorry.
That's okay. I guess it's a goof that they didn't account for, but his eye, like the lazy eye, switches.
Yeah. But is that just it going everywhere, though? I couldn't really tell. I don't know.
Because at one point, there's this eye that goes up, and then at another point, this eye is out of it. So I don't know if that's a normal thing that lazy eyes do, but yeah, it was very good. He was great.
He apparently went to In-N-Out Burger after the Golden Globes with his award. That's
beautiful.
It's classic.
Love it. Yeah,
classic Giamatti.
Giamatti's great. He did a great, I could watch him in almost anything. There was that movie back in the day, Lady in the Water, which, it's that M. Night Shyamalan movie, which is not, everybody thought, oh, it's M. Night Shyamalan, but it paled in comparison to like Sixth Sense and Signs and all of them.
Right.
It wasn't a great movie, but I could watch it because Paul Giamatti gives a great performance. And it's not a terrible movie. It's a good story. It's fun. It's sci-fi.
Yeah.
It's a decent movie, and he's 50% of the reason why. At least 50%.
That I could watch him in everything. By the way, this was the reuniting of him and the guy from Sideways.
I never saw Sideways.
Like
I have to see Sideways.
What?
I know.
What?
I know. Hey, give me a break. I saw everything else.
Yeah, listen, I'm happy. But I mean, you love Giamatti. That is legit his best role.
Yeah, right.
He is.
That was genuine Giamatti.
He is. That's at the top of his game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'm all in on Giamatti. He's great.
All right. I can't believe you saw something and agreed. Like, this is monumental. This is amazing.
Definitely enjoyed that movie. A great movie. Out of all the movies I've seen that were nominated, probably the best one I've seen. Out of all the nominated Best Pictures, to be fair, I haven't seen like half of Flower Moon. I haven't seen a bunch of the other ones.
I didn't see that one either. I hear it's really good too.
I don't know,
but I don't think it has enough. Even knowing what I know, and even with De Niro and DiCaprio and Scorsese, it can't be as good as that Holdovers. The movie's too good. Sybil agrees, by the way, about Sideways. It's the best. It's the best Giamatti role. He's so good.
Better than Holdover.
I'll tell you what, man. Boy, it's unfair. Same director. That's the same guy who wrote and directed Sideways wrote and directed this movie. It's unfair because Sideways has been with me for so long, but I'm so excited about the Holdover. Like, I can't wait to watch it again.
All right.
Like, that's how hyped I am for it.
I gotta check it out. It's just one of those things that just flew under my radar. I never got around to it.
I get it. I've never seen Lost. Don't tell anybody because they get mad when I say that.
You never saw Lost?
No, I'm gonna get to it one
Don't
day.
waste your time.
What?
Don't waste your time.
I can't believe you didn't like fucking
Good Will Hunting?
I can't believe you didn't like Good Will Hunting. Come on, man. That's a good movie.
Ugh, get the fuck out of it. Yeah, it has some quotable lines. It was a big circle jerk. I can't.
You know what was under the radar? Air. Air was really good, speaking of Matt Damon and Ben Affleck.
Didn't see that one either. Did that nominated for anything?
It got nominated. Yeah, it's all about Nike and the Michael Jordan deal and how that came up, how kind of revolutionary that was at the time and how it came about. It's really good.
I feel like not seeing the movie, I feel like that could be a 10-minute clip. They came up with Nike. They asked Michael Jordan. How much? Can you make a 2-hour movie out of that? All right.
You can. All right. That's it for us. Appreciate everybody. Links in the description below for Aaron's book, merch.
Yes, Oval.
And, of course, memberships.
Show me potato salad.
Catch you guys in the next one.
Maybe we should go now.
Go ahead.